On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. I'm telling you what, there's a lot of people out there that are picking up on a vibe. And they may not realize they're picking up on a vibe, but they feel like there's this energy. There feels like there's this kind of like all of a sudden the deep state's pushing this crazy thing. And, you know, we feel like we're taking steps back. We feel like we're being pushed backwards. And that's not actually what we're feeling. It's how a lot of us are defining it. But what we're actually feeling, what's really going on, and maybe still concerning, don't get me wrong, is the left right now has hope for the first time in a long time. Everyone's been claiming to be behind Biden because they know that's what they're supposed to do. That's what brainwashed people do. But they've never felt good about it because Biden has just continued to suck on so many levels. So for the first time in a long time, they've got hope. Now, I understand that to be a good thing for them, don't get me wrong. What I am going to demonstrate by the end of today's show is that you don't have anything to worry about. And this really is a trick right now. This is exactly what has happened. Donald Trump played part of this brilliantly. We're going to talk about the Michelle Obama and Michelle and Barack side of this. And the fact that they're maybe in some legal woes that they didn't realize they couldn't finagle their way through. They're trying. So things are not rosy for them. And her first few examples of statesmanship have not gone well. On top of that, she seems to be acting like she's in charge, yet nobody's told us that she's actually in charge. There is a lot of things that are very quickly going to start to collapse. They don't have the abilities to pull this off. So relax, enjoy the show. This is that moment where the bad guy thinks they're going to do something crazy and they try some crazy plan, but the good guys know and knew what they were going to do. The 25th Amendment's the next thing that's going to be forced on them. And it is, we'll talk about it, going to be forced on them. They will have no choice but to 25th Amendment Joe Biden. We're going to see, again, how this all plays out. I want to start here. I think it's a perfect place to start. And this is just a lady that just the red-pilling perfect way to say it. I mean, this is where we are. She says it beautifully. And I think this is amazing. Check it out.
How old are you now?
34, just turned 34.
What's the best piece of advice that you would tell your younger self? You're having a conversation with your 20-year-old self. What's the number one thing that you would tell your younger self?
So you have to understand that who you are today is a set of programs. Like your brain is a computer system. And who you are is just what your parents taught you, what your institutions taught you. If you were in religious structures or sports or anything, that's who you are. It's a program in your brain. So if you don't like your situation, you feel like you're limited, you feel like everybody else is like crushing it and you're not, it's just because your program has a virus and you have to rewire your mind. So meditation, mental rehearsal. You know, I worked with Sports Illustrated for the last couple of years and nobody talks about this, but like Steph Curry meditates before a game. He visualizes. Michael Jordan said it was just as important to spend time in the mind gym as it was the mental gym. Kobe believed every shot he took, it was going to go into the net. So everything's a mind game. Like that's all it is. And once you program yourself to win, you can only win. It's the only option.
That's true. Beliefs are a funny thing. They hinder most of us. Beliefs are things that we put that actually have walls in our worlds. Things you're not allowed to do, can do, but there's reasons you believe it. There's something, I believe I can't do that. I believe this, that. There's a lot of people that live by that level of structure. They need beliefs that tell them where to stop. But then there's the other side of it. And this is really the tricky part about where we're at today, by the way, especially for those of us that are trying to consciously help through this transition. Very difficult at times. But there are those of us that believe our beliefs open the skies, give me wings to fly, allow me to traverse distances that aren't possible. See, beliefs are what sets us free or what puts us in a cage. And everybody has beliefs, and you feel, for whatever reason, and beliefs are just a thing you've said over and over and over and over, or been told over and over and over and over, and you just actually accept as truth. It is how we imprison ourselves. Deep story, deep thoughts. I don't know
How old are you now?
how many of you guys will take that for what that is meant to be, but that is one of the single biggest tricks to life for each one of us as individuals that there is. Podcast charts that have come out. Tucker Carlson's podcast has now surpassed Joe Rogan, which is pretty impressive. I love Joe Rogan. I also like Tucker, so it's all good. We've got really two really good people, in my opinion, sitting at the top of the list right now, which is telling you millions and millions of people are at least getting some good information. So good on that. That's fantastic. This guy named Brian Kranzenstein, he put out a poll. He didn't like his original first poll, so he put out a second poll. I'm guessing. I didn't go digging into this, but he goes, let's try this again. Implies that they're doing it again, second at least time. He's obviously left-leaning. How do I know this? Here's the poll. Former prosecutor Kamala Harris, or who would you vote for, by the way, is the question. So former prosecutor Kamala Harris or convicted felon Donald Trump. Did you hear the music in the background? The dun-dun-dun, and right? Convicted felon Donald Trump. So who do they vote for? Donald Trump, convicted felon, 78%. Big time. Kamala Harris at 16%. RFK Jr. at 6%. They are not doing as good as some of us would fear. Now, basically, they're getting ready to cheat again. This is true. They did a good job on this. I think this is Fox News, if I remember correctly. Yeah. This is, again, they're hyped up. I think there's people that are kind of feeling it, freaking out a little bit. I saw one post from somebody. I don't want to say who it is because I honestly felt as a leader of groups, you should be a lot more akin or understanding of the fact that you have people that take what you say to heart. And if you say things that are actually pushing down our feelings of hope, I feel like you're doing a disservice, right? Like you're not really doing your job very well. So I'm going to let this individual figure that out on their own. We all have our weak days. I just don't think we necessarily need to broadcast them. I don't tell you guys when I'm not feeling good, unless I'm actually sick. All said, we got to do our best to be the best we can and to try to help. With great power comes great responsibility, right? Like I put this wonderful channel together, and I love the fact that it's growing, and I need to accept and understand those responsibilities that come with that. It's just part of how this game's played. All said, this is kind of the movement that we're all working through right now. It's a transition time for all of us. I can't state that enough, but we'll get there.
At the garden party. This is too triumphalist, okay? This is everybody's giddy. I look at the coverage and it's great. Get ready, they're coming, all right? And it's good. Everybody should feel good and liberated and everything else. But if we don't win the election, we hadn't done anything.
Yeah, don't get too comfortable, Democrats.
Well, here's the thing about the Democrats. They were not excited about Joe Biden. They're excited about her, more excited about her. What puts that excitement into a different frame of mind is the fact that the Democrats have got a world-class get-out-the-vote operation. Nobody does it better than the Democrats. And if you have some excitement and you combine that with the machine, which they have effectively run for decades, that is helpful to her. And the Trump people know that, and they're addressing that. They're trying their best to get out the vote as well.
The problem is the excitement right now remains because there's no challenge. And when I say challenges, there was no primary process. She's not doing live TV interviews where people are pushing her back and forth on policy. There hasn't been a debate. So I understand the wind in the sails of the Democratic Party. She's going to get a bump right now. But eventually, when people start pressing her on her policy stances and she starts fumbling like she did on the debate stage when Tulsi Gabbard took her out, as well as when she fumbled with all the rest of the interviews as vice president, I think that's when we're going to see the true Kamala Harris.
Well, the thing that's going to be different is every time Joe Biden, every time Trump went after Joe Biden in 2020, he said, why are you saying I'm a left-wing guy? I have a history of being a moderate. That's not me. I'm not to fund the police. I'm not anti-fracking. Well, he said, well, that's what he sold himself as. But guess who was the left wing? Her. She was the one who said no fracking. She's the one who wanted to get rid of private insurance. She's the one who said stop criminalizing border crossings. She was the one who wanted to get rid of ICE. She's the one who came out for the rioters. That's why he said, I won the primary. Well, now she won. And now she has to either say, that's the old me, this is the new me, or I never said that, which they're trying to say now, or I'm going to embrace that. And that's why the Trump people are pleased long term, because if she embraces it, she's lost most of the American people.
Then it becomes a binary choice. The choices
and yes, everything they said is legit. I'm seriously asking for any of the guys of you out there that have like any sort of connection to me, like you have my email address or something. Help me out with something. Am I wrong? This is me trying to learn fashion stuff because I have like my 2 suits. I think I have 2 suits. Let's call them suits. Your cuff's not supposed to stick out that far, is it? Are you really like the whole entire cuff? Phil, like these dudes are sort of representing a little closer to what my understanding of it is. This guy's over here with like what, his son's jacket? Anyway, maybe he's been working out. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just asking because I frankly am afraid I've missed something. It might be like the fact that you're supposed to wear like short the high water pants are in now. I don't understand that one at all. That's stupid. Makes no sense. Anyway, do you guys want more of this? Is the big question, I think, to most people out there. Now, most of my audience, you guys probably are not really wanting more of this, but that's what we work for. That's part of our, we're trying to remind others through our ripplings of this. So Michael Waller put this out. Devastating scoop by Miranda Devine about the 229-page report by current and former FBI personnel. These professionals confirm that the rot in the FBI is deep and terminal. I'm reading the entire report now. Here's the link, yada, yada. The report has 10 key findings submitted to Congress, and they reveal an FBI that's out of control. Now, these 10 points are actually kind of, I thought, good to bring up. Local law enforcement officers do not trust the FBI, point 1. Point 2, no more actionable, substantive information sharing with the FBI. Point 3, FBI National Academy graduates are troubled by the bias. 4, crisis of confidence in the FBI-led task forces. 5, the FBI is isolated and unresponsive to local law enforcement. 6, local law enforcement officers feel disrespected by FBI special agents. 7, today's tone-deaf FBI disregards the value of retired FBI special agents. 8, the new generation of substandard FBI special agents. 9, FBI management is too transitory and obsessed with self-promotion. 10, the FBI's cult of narcissism begins at the FBI Academy, where they drill it in that you're special. Now, initially, the deep state's plan was to be exactly that. The alphabet agencies, all of them, were meant to interpret the rules or interpret the law to the best they could and use that. And that's what the FBI has been doing. So the rot is deep, and the reports are happening. People are coming out. People are talking. We are getting to the places we need to get. Not easy, but we're getting there. Hey, you know what? Pentagon, they found another $2 billion mistake. Whoops. Yeah, apparently they gave another $2 billion of stuff or money or whatevers to Ukraine that they didn't write down properly. That's strange. You guys continue to just have all sorts of accounting problems there, Pentagon. Deep state, So the U.S. Department of Defense has faced challenges in accurately valuing defense articles sent to the Ukraine due to unclear accounting definitions, it seems. So they're like, hey, we need to give them $2 billion worth of stuff. And they're like, well, this missile's worth like, $14. And they're like, it's actually worth way more than that. And they're like, oh, really? And they're like, yeah, how many of them did you give? Crap, that just cost us about $2 billion. Oops. Basically, right? I thought it was a $14 missile. Come to find out, it's a $14,000 missile, or it's probably significantly bigger numbers, but let's just keep it simple. Those things add up quickly, and here we are. This is 3 minutes of Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson, and it describes the insanity of where we're at. And certainly it describes this whole weird movement with parents right now that have children that want to transgender. And I think Jordan Peterson describes why those mothers feel that it's okay to do hormone blockers, which will irreparably change your child. There's no fixing it later. There's no, oops, sorry, changing gears. No, you literally are changing the child and their development. They will never be what they once were. Now, the deep state, the evil people totally want that. That's what they're all about. The other people feel guilty because they have weak consciousness, they have weak morals, they have weak, they're afraid to admit anything that people might disagree with. Like, there's people that literally live in those worlds, fearful to disagree. And, otherwise they get angry about it, right? And they know that people will get angry at them if they disagree with them. They don't want to have people angry with them. We don't mind because we're not insane or propagandized or whatever the hell you want to define it as. What, blue-pilled or black-pilled or purple-pilled shit. Here's, I think, arguably close to 3 minutes of the best of this entire interview.
It was typical for girls to undergo a fair bit of confusion when they hit puberty, and that would take the form of negative emotion. No one told her that. They just rushed her down the puberty blocking and surgical pathway. That's inexcusable.
It's evil.
Yeah, it is. It's the worst thing. It's the worst thing I've seen professionals do, not only in my lifetime. I've studied atrocity for 40 years. I've never seen anything worse than what's happening right now. And that includes the sorts of things that were done in the camps in Germany. At least the goddamn Nazis admitted what they did was wrong. They tried to hide it. We trumpet it as a moral virtue. We're freeing the children. It's like, no, I don't think so, mothers. I think what you're doing is sacrificing your child to the parading of your moral virtue. Oh, my son, he's so confused. He thinks he's a girl, but I still love him. That's how wonderful I am. Jesus Christ, Joe. You have no idea how dark that is.
It's dark.
It's unbelievably
and it's
dark.
attached to an industry now.
Yeah, that's
which is
for
very
sure.
scary. There was
an industry and an ideology.
There was an article that was recently released where this person admitted that they said it was what was the exact phrase? That the way they described gender transition as life-saving medical care in order to get insurance for it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise insurance won't pay for it. So they were willing to describe it in that way to ensure that people would profit off of it, which is wild.
It's
terrifying. And it's so strange because I never would have believed that this could happen. If you had asked me 20 years ago if this was going to be a main concern, that people were worried about their children being roped into this ideology and convinced that they're
and then sterilized and mutilated.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know.
Terrifying.
Well, it's no wonder people see. Even Michael Schellenberger, who broke the WPATH files, when we talked about the role the WPATH played in establishing their own ideology-addled butchery as the standard of care for the American Medical Association, the American Psychiatric Association, the American Psychological Association, Schellenberger said that after he had listened to Abigail Schreier and I talk about this trans mutilation, he was so appalled that he literally couldn't believe it. He just shelved it. He said, there's no way this can be true. And I can understand that because the more you look into it, the worse it gets.
Right.
It's unbelievably bad. These surgical procedures are so brutal and so experimental that they're I'm going to say it again, they're worse than what the Mengele types did in the concentration camps in the 30s and 40s.
That's strong statements, but very true. This is evil we're fighting against, folks. Most people are good and don't realize that they've been succumbed to evil. They don't get it. And again, a lot of people that are very spiritual don't realize how much their ego has taken control of their path. And that's the other dangerous thing, especially for all the people that are channels and gurus and all that crap. You got to keep your ego in check. And that'll be challenged, especially as you become successful. It's a must. So it's a challenging process for everybody to work through this, but again, we're all working through this. Now, again, this is more of the check boxes that the deep state takes advantage that they have in the bag. It's more of those check boxes becoming unchecked. We talk about this a lot on this channel. And I think it's important to celebrate, one, diversity, of course, but two, diversity in thought and belief, because a lot of people are waking up from their beliefs, and it's powerful.
Yeah, this message is to all you Trump supporters, all you MAGA people. I have one thing to say to you. I'm sorry. Sorry that I bought into all the bullshit that the media was feeding to me for all those years. Sorry for thinking that you guys were the enemy when really you were trying to protect this country. The past 3 years, the past 4 years have been horrific. You can't buy food. Gas prices are ridiculous. And our cities are looking like fucking slums. Elect Kamala Harris, who's actually in charge of the border now. Yeah, no, sorry. I bought into all the bullshit. Not this time. Another thing, as a gay man, I'm over this fucking gay woke agenda bullshit. Because that's not what the gay community is. Sorry, it is not. What they're pushing on TV is some sadistic shit. And as somebody who has a nephew who's in kindergarten, the last thing I want is for my nephew to think that you already know where I'm going with this, right? That's some bullshit. That, in my opinion, is some bullshit that they're doing with the kids. It has to stop. It has to stop because it's giving gay people a bad name. Gay people who don't want any part in that. I don't even go to gay pride anymore because it's disgusting. Gay pride used to be fun. Gay pride used to be a kiki. We used to that. No, but basically turned into a fucking sex fest. It's disgusting and it does not represent me in one bit. I was told that if I vote for Trump, that my rights as a gay man would be taken away and I would be set back 100 years. And can you show me where Trump said that? You know the response I got? Fuck you! Crazy liberal shit. So, again, to all the MAGA people, you have a new person on board with you. Trump 2024. Let's get this fucking country back in order. Thank you.
No, I'm going to say, I mean, it's a disclaimer, I guess. I mean, one of my best friends is gay. And like I've said, I've been in theater and stuff my whole life. So I've been around this my whole life. And I'll never forget, I got my comeuppance. I think I was trying to be a little virtuous too. I think I was, because he slapped my ass down. It was pretty awesome. This is what a friend would do. But I asked him, I'm like, hey man, just because you're like closer to this than I am, I said, do you like support all this transgender stuff and the kids and the things they're trying to do? And he goes, dude, I'm gay. Why would I even think about any like that? What? That's stupid. What do you? And I was like, wow, you're right. You're right. Sorry. Like I lumped those things together because those letters have been lumped together. And he called me out for being a douchey friend. He was right. They don't like it. Again, gay's been around forever. They've always had men bathhouses. You guys go do some research. It's disgusting, but whatever. FEC chair suggests Biden may be breaking campaign finance laws by giving donor funds to Kamala. Dem lawmaker tries to shut him up. Democrats are reportedly attempting to silence Federal Election Commission Chair Sean Cooksey after he quoted an FEC law on his social media, suggesting that the donations that have gone to Joe Biden's campaign cannot be transferred to Kamala Harris's campaign now that the president has dropped out of the 2024 race. A letter from Rep. Joe Morell sent to Cooksey reads, I write to clarify a possible misrepresentation that appeared on your recent social media activity that may sow misguided doubt and confusion about the state of the president election and the commission's impartiality. His impartiality, because he's calling out something that doesn't bode well for the Democrats. The same thing when they say we have to save democracy. It has been a two-tiered system forever. It's been us against them. And if you didn't figure out who them was, you were probably a part of it. And a lot of us that weren't part of them have been the enemy for a long time. But that is what's happening. There's always been this group. There's Republicans in the them, there was Democrats in the them, and most people got trapped up in that machine. Rock stars and actors and all that crap. So yeah, the FEC is not supposed to say the truth, but yet he is. It's an interesting point. We know Trump's already filed papers around this. If she can't get her hands on the money, this causes a huge problem. We know that one guy, Reid Hoffman, I think it was, gave her $7 million, but it had major strings attached to it. So Trump, this is being put out by CBS affiliate, Trump falsely accuses Harris of donating to Minnesota Freedom Fund, bailing out dangerous criminals. Well, thank God for Truth Social and the reader's context. And even when this bites you in the butt, it's still awesome to have it there. On June 1st, 2020 at 3:34 p.m. Minnesota time, Kamala Harris tweeted, if you are able to, chip in now to the @Minnesota Freedom Fund to help post bail for those protesting on the grounds in Minnesota. The tweet contained a donation link. The tweet has not been deleted and is available. They even give the link where you could find this information. Now, she's probably going to delete it now. But them coming out and lying again and again and again, saying something's not true that is, well, we're having a lot of fun with this, aren't we? And I did get my dream come true today, and this was part of it. So this is being put out by the press. This is the information from the deep state, essentially. Your walking orders, your talking orders, your 4 a.m. points, or whatever they call it. Vice President Harris was never appointed border czar. There has never been such a position. It doesn't exist. Border czar title invented by Republicans. Axios actually was the one that was definitely in print with the term. And they're definitely not right-leaning. They were not asked to lead on the admin's immigration policy, right? And the POTUS tasked her to lead admin's diplomatic root causes is what they're claiming. So this is the talking points. This is all the press is supposed to say. This is not what everybody says it is. She was supposed to help try to keep people from wanting to come here. That was her job. None of this border czar stuff or anything. And I was like frustrated. I went looking, and it was, they'll DuckDuckGo. They'll block you. They're not going to let you get in there. Google's not going to let you get in there. It's hard to find the good stuff, right? So I couldn't find any real solid. Found a little bit of stuff, shared it yesterday, but couldn't find any solid. I couldn't find Biden talking and saying border czar. I wanted the smoking gun badly. And one of the beautiful things about manifesting is when you've got a desire for something and you hold it in your heart, hold it in your mind, well, it ends up showing up, oddly. And we get some of that. Here's some of that. Now, we've got a top 5 here of media currently rewriting history. I want to start. We'll finish with number 1. Well, actually, I could do this way. Let's do it this way. Open it from here, and then we'll read it. So number 5, CBS claims Trump is lying by saying Harris donated to Minnesota. We just talked about that one, right? That there's a link in there. That post existed at the time of all this nonsense. 4, President Biden dropped out to save democracy. Biden was forcibly removed by top Democrats who reportedly made threats after he indicated he wasn't going anywhere. 3, J.D. Vance had sex with a couch cushion. The AP fact-checked this claim as false, but then removed the fact-check because if it didn't go through our standing editing process. So whatever. I didn't even know about that one. Wow, sex with a cushion? I don't even know what that means. I do, I think, but okay. Kamala Harris was not a DEI pick for vice president. President Biden made it clear in 2020 that he was picking his VP based on gender and skin color, confirming that Kamala was indeed a DEI pick. So, again, all these fact-check things. And then finally, Kamala Harris was never the border czar.
She was put in charge of the border.
Nope. She was imported.
So we don't say the word czar. That was Axios, which is, again, right-leaning, or left-leaning, tabloid, whatever. But everybody pretty much said that's what she was, right? Huh, weird. So here's the thing. Kamala Harris seems like she's, quote, in charge. Seems like she's running around being president. I don't know. Just curious what you think. The way she's trying to present herself, vastly different than she has up till now, I think. So there's a whole weird coaching thing going on. I think this is going to fall apart quickly. It kind of starting to already, but here's some of the nonsense.
You've been asking me about the debate, and I'll tell you, I'm ready to debate Donald Trump. I have agreed to the previously agreed upon September 10th debate. He agreed to that previously. Now it appears he's backpedaling, but I'm ready. And I think the voters deserve to see the split screen that exists in this race on a debate stage. And so I'm ready. Let's go.
Calling it backpedaling seems weird, considering he agreed to debate Joe Biden at that date and time. And then you all of a sudden switched some stuff up in the background. So backpedaling? Who? I don't know. Why don't you guys put Joe Biden back in? Talk about backpedaling. I mean, come on. ABC News says Harris wants the original debate plan, which is what the deal is. She wants what's originally agreed upon. And I don't think Trump gives a shit, but he's playing a cool little game on it. He also threw a little dump in here that worked perfectly. Perfectly. Now, maybe this was going to happen already, and Trump maybe kind of sensed that and went ahead and put this pressure on it to force it into play, because what he did was brilliant. Let's read this truth first, or his post. I don't know which this was. Trump campaign statement on general election debates. Given the continued political chaos surrounding crooked Joe Biden and the Democratic Party, general election debate details cannot be finalized until Democrats formally decide on their nominee. There is a strong sense by many in the Democratic Party, namely Barack Hussein Obama, that Kamala Harris is a Marxist fraud who cannot beat President Trump, and they are still holding out for someone better. Therefore, it would be inappropriate to schedule things with Harris because Democrats very well could still change their minds. Trump forced them to make a move. By them making a move, this eats up and destroys precious time of them possibly bringing someone else out. Not to mention they've got the vice president problem that they're going to have. And they're going to do it and use their standard thinking process and choose someone ridiculously stupid. It'll probably be the worst choice. You watch. They're going to. I don't want to talk about specifics at all. We'll see how it plays out, but I'll almost bet whoever they choose is going to be like almost the worst choice. So here's the Obamas, apparently, coming out in support of her. Now, there's a lady that parodies this chick. I'm playing her next because she's funny as hell. I've seen her twice now. And she does such a damn good Kamala Harris. I think it's an Indian chick, too, for that matter, which is sweet because she's kind of coming at her from the same race, if you will. Well, at least half of it. She's funny as hell, the cackle. She does the cackle so well. Like, I've tried to do that a couple times. Just like I talk to myself a bunch because I always try to work through shit or I try to work on accents. I'm always doing something stupid. People think I'm crazy. I don't really give a crap. Here's the thing. I've tried to do the cackle. I can't do the cackle. Like, I just can't. I've got to find that spark inside of me because I think that cackle could be it's such a powerful tool. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Every day it's a new day in paradise. But here is the Obamas putting their full support behind her, and then very shortly after, somebody fully making fun of the making of this.
Kamala!
Hello. Hi.
Hey there!
Oh, hi, you're both together. Oh, it's good to hear you both.
I can't have this phone call without saying to my girl Kamala, I am proud of you. This is going to be historic.
We called to say Michelle and I couldn't be prouder to endorse you and to do everything we can to get you through this election and into the Oval Office.
Oh my goodness. Michelle, Barack, this means so much to me. I am looking forward to doing this with the two of you, Doug and I both, and getting out there, being on the road. But most of all, I just want to tell you the words you have spoken and the friendship that you have given over all these years mean more than I can express. So thank you both. It means so much. And we're going to have some fun with this too, aren't we?
First off, it's just stupid, but it is what it is. Second off, do you see how many background changes there were during that one short little phone conversation that they obviously edited together a lot? Now here's someone making fun of her as somebody should. And this chick does such an awesome job. Good job on you, sweetheart.
All right. Let me know when to start. Now? Hi, Michelle and Barack. Do it again? Okay. Well, look who it is. It's Big Mike and Barack. Crap. All right. Take 49. Oh, thank you so much. And, your endorsement means so much to me. Even though I didn't have it the first time. Yes, the time to act is now. Now is the time to act. And I will be doing what we promised we will be doing. And that time is every day. Doing what we had to cut. They said to cut. I was trying something different from unburdening what has been. That was your direction. I think the American people are coming around to it. Michelle, this is the 73rd take. Alright? I have to get off my feet, my knees are killing me. They're working knees, It is my honor to receive your endorsement. I consider you both great friends. You have taught myself and Joe everything that we need to know about transparency. And I will lead with full transparency in this presidential campaign. Cut. Yeah, we got it. That's a wrap, folks.
I I think she does it perfectly. In fact, there was moments there where I was like, wait, that's actually her, right? It looks like her. Jack Posobo put this out in regards to Politico's post. Politico posted, Kamala Harris faces greater security risks because she's a woman and person of color. And the Secret Service is almost certainly taking that into account, said retired stupid person. Probably not what it says, but I wouldn't dare click on it because I don't give a crap what retired retard says. Politico, that's what they're posting. Jack Posobiec says Donald Trump was shot in the face less than 2 weeks ago. Power Tie responded to both of these guys and said, to be fair, they've both taken shots to the face. I'm going to let you figure that out. If you don't, it's okay. Kamala's appearances with Israel Benjamin Netanyahu. I want to show the difference between her and the comfort of a statesman that she exudes in this moment. You know, it's like it's natural. It's surprising. It's surprising to me how natural she was. But then I've got Donald Trump next, demonstrating how weirdly uncomfortable he is, how much it seems like they don't get along. The distance of the relationship between Trump and Bibi, you know, it seems like it's estranged. I don't know. You guys tell me. We're going to start. Hope you guys caught the sarcasm. We're going to start with Kamala's appearance first because she's the president now, it seems.
Welcome, Mr. Prime Minister, and I look forward to our conversation. We have lots to talk about. Thank you. Thank you all.
And then she kicked the press out. And so, you know, like I said, all the things, very stateswoman-esque. Who knows? Here's Donald Trump being very awkward and not friendly and like, just, I don't know, it feels scripted here.
Now I'm honored. Come on in. Come on in.
Got you the best part.
The greatest dinner I've ever had. Come on, let's get a good, beautiful. Please, let's make a... Great. Thank you.
Dude, notice how their ties basically match colors, okay? Like, that's not accidental, guys. Notice how he also went in with the Broheim high five, like, God, and get a little lovey-love tap. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. If I was to think of somebody that was dealing with Israel right now, I sure think I feel like it would be Donald Trump over oddly uncomfortable in her own shoes, Kamala Harris. We'll see. She said she told the prime minister stuff. We'll hear her talk about that.
So I just had a frank and constructive meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu. I told him that I will always ensure that Israel is able to defend itself, including from Iran and Iran-backed militias such as Hamas and Hezbollah. Unless they are weapons that you want from us. And then, no, we're probably not going to give you shit. Anyway, Netanyahu was a little irked, apparently, by her public statements that she made directly after their in-face, very comfort, very, like, I've known you for years. That whole exchange went, I guess, differently than when little Kamala in chief, I should say, when she finally got up in front of the cameras and got to, elaborate her leftiness in front of everybody. Well, she ended up pissing off Netanyahu. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is upset by Vice President Kamala Harris's on-camera statement after their meeting and is concerned it will harm the negotiations over a Gaza hostage and ceasefire deal, an Israel official said in a briefing with reporters. Harris's meeting with Netanyahu took place at a critical moment in negotiations over a possible deal. This was Harris's first meeting with a foreign leader since she started her presidential campaign, since she started being president. Two Israeli officials said Netanyahu's meeting with Biden was much more constructive than his meeting with Harris, but stressed the meeting with the vice president wasn't tense or difficult. The Israel officials said Netanyahu and his team were caught off guard by Harris's on-camera statements and taken aback by its tone, which they said sounded much more critical than Biden's. Harris's statement after the meeting was much more critical, they say. Well, we've got some of that, hopefully still highlighted. Good. So the part where Harris said, she said a bunch of stuff, whatever. And then she got to this, quote, "The images of dead children
and desperate, hungry people fleeing for safety, sometimes displaced for the second, third, or fourth time, we cannot look away in the face of these tragedies. We cannot allow ourselves to become numb to the suffering, and I will not be silent. Still quoting, "It is time for this war to end, and the end in a way where Israel is secure, all the hostages are released, the suffering of Palestinians in Gaza ends, and the Palestinian people can exercise their rights to freedom, dignity, and self-determination." Continuing to quote, maybe not directly together, but these are direct quotes. "And as I told Prime Minister Netanyahu, it is time to get this deal done. Let's get the deal done so we can get a ceasefire to end this war. Let's bring the hostages home, and let's provide much-needed relief to the Palestinian people." Don't want Israel to deal with the problem that's been plaguing them for years. Now, again, I have a lot of questions around how all of these things began in the big picture, but Deep State was behind it from day one. All said, it is what it is. Yet in Ukraine, we've killed off almost an entire generation of men. And for what? They're still not gaining ground. Now they're trying to break rules. Well, now all of a sudden, Zelensky's like trying to get on board and make a deal quickly because he knows when Donald Trump comes in, the deal ain't going to be good for him at all. And it's not going to be. This is Zelensky's last chance to try to pull something together. So these are the things that are going on. This is what Kamala is doing as a statesman, woman, whatever. Donald Trump posted Russian and Chinese jets are flying over our west coast. Russian warships are now in Cuba, 70 miles off our coast. What's Kamala going to do? Right? Great question. Now, this was put out, apparently, and this is a decent poll to my understanding. Did they tell us which poll? Let me see if we can figure it out. New York Post poll, likely. 92% of voters are blaming Kamala Harris for Biden's health cover-up. Kind of makes sense if you think about it. Think about all the people that told everybody he's fine. All the people that literally 2 days before him dropping out said everything was fine. Think of all those people that have zero credibility, really. Now, how that sinks into people, we'll see. But they've lied and lied and lied and lied, and anybody they try to talk to about the facts that are happening now, well, Trump wasn't apparently shot with a bullet. You'd be like, well, where'd you get those facts from? The same people that said Biden was fine? Are you sure? You sure about those facts? You guys don't ever seem to be correct about stuff. You're still making claims that Trump said things about they're all good people when that's not even close to how that quote went. Or how about injecting bleach? Not how that quote even came close to going. So again, who are we going to listen to? There's countless examples. So 92% of voters blame Kamala for the health cover-up. What did she know? She had to have known a bunch. Oh, there it was. We had the YouGov Times poll. So kind of lefty-leaning. There's 1,100 registered voters that voted. So again, tiny-ass percentage of people. National Immigration Center for Enforcement put this out. Kamala Harris championed sanctuary cities policies, and these migrant crimes could come back to haunt her. Just remember that. All sorts of bad stuff's come through our border. All sorts of bad stuff's happened in San Francisco. San Francisco itself is in bad shape. She's been directly involved in all these things. Yeah. No, it's not going to be a problem. So again, don't sweat it, folks. As a good friend of mine used to say, don't sweat the petty things. Pet the sweaty things. I'm just saying. You don't have to like that. You should try it, though. It's fun. Woke 2.0. ESG critics say the same movement marches on, only with a new name. So BlackRock, instead of calling it ESG, they're now calling it transition investing. I don't think... this was one of the key things for me. Because it was less of an issue of, let me see if I can save myself some wealth. I wasn't smart enough back when I got out of the system to think about it that way. Like, it would have been wise of me to done something similar than this. Because I think I cashed out when I was younger. I didn't have that much in there. I don't know. And I took a hit for it, and it sucked, right? Paid a lot of taxes. Stupid. I didn't get much of the money back. It was a big waste. Big waste. But this system that's happening right now, that's falling apart, I didn't want to be a part of it. I didn't want to support it. I didn't want my hard-earned anything helping them. That was one of the key reasons I got out. What's weird right now is there's this other huge good reason, which is the investment side of it. Dollars to dollars, with inflation taken into account, the more the Fed continues to print money, the more inflation continues to happen. The Fed slowed down that printing a little bit, so our extreme inflation has tapered, but we're still higher than we should be, and that's over the 12-month period that we've just come from. We're still up 3% plus or whatever. And again, they are always changing these numbers to make them look better because it's close to an election. The deep state's in charge of those numbers. The deep state is in charge of the Federal Reserve. The deep state has been in charge of the central banking, and this is the third system that we're on. I'm just telling you guys, being in their system's not the best idea. It's not a good long-term investment because of how things are going to play out, because of inflation, because you're losing buying power every day. Right now, precious metals are going up in buying power. Literally, they're going up to such a degree, prices since March have gone insane. They're going up to such a degree that people are actually netting positive results above inflation. They're actually increasing buying power. This is how you get through it. This is how, frankly, some of the fees and whatnot are going to get paid too. There's a factor that comes into play. Buying and trading metals is a different game than, well, it's similar to stocks, and there's always people taking a piece everywhere. So that is part of this process. But you can do it tax-free and penalty-free. You can keep Uncle Sam out of it, and you can get your money out of their system, and you can do it easily and quickly. Like literally, you can do the DocuSign and stuff, and you're good to go. Well, assuming you qualify. Maybe there's some states that can't do that. I don't know what the laws are. I know in California we can. I've done it a bunch, and holy crap, how easy it is to sign your life away. Frightening, really, but still, you should always read the documents, always. Ask questions. They'll answer them for you. Tell one of them you would like to have someone explain this doc before you sign it. They'll do that. They're awesome. Their customer service is beyond recognition. It's incredible. My good friends Goldco, go to them. Go to drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. Let my friends help you get out of their system. Let my friends help you take your wealth and move it while the moving's good. There's still crazy stuff going on, and we're waiting for crazier things to probably fall anytime. You don't want to be stuck waiting. You don't want to be thinking you're going to get ahead of this. You don't want to think that you're going to be, I'm going to see the writing on the wall and then I'll take care of it. First off, this takes days to weeks, depending on how long you work at it. They're incredible. They'll go as fast as you can go. If you can go quick, if they hand you things to sign and you've literally signed it in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, boom, they're moving on to the next thing because they've got the confirmation they need. You'd be amazed how quickly they can make this happen. But if you think you're going to outrun them when the swarm is on you, no. I'm just saying, take what you got. You might get a couple more dollars that aren't worth more, but what you are going to see is you're going to see the price of gold and silver go up, and you're going to see a huge raise in your value. You're going to see a raise in your investments. It's what people have seen. They're up right now big time. 45% they're saying especially since March. It's up a lot. Go to drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. Get out of their system before they get out of you. You could qualify, by the way, if you've got cash that's also getting eaten out of inflation every day. If you got some cash lying around, buy some precious metals. Do the same thing. Go to drslikesgold.com. You could qualify to up to $8,000 of free silver. And silver is so undervalued right now. That day's coming. Be out in front of that too. No promises, no guarantees, none of this. Nothing is a guarantee ever in life. But getting out of this tax-free and penalty-free and getting over into a place where you can do better, well, that's actually guaranteed. Go to drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. Get out of that system before they get out of you. That is full shizzle. All right, we got some interesting news coming out. Now, the Democrats are trying to put Dan Goldman on this assassination team. Now, they need a deep state spy. They need somebody that hates Donald Trump. They need somebody that's a part of that group that can be trusted. Mike Johnson's aware of that. They know this. But Rep. Dan Goldman, well, he was a national superhero for many because he was the lead counsel during Trump's first impeachment. And they're trying to put him on that panel. That's insane. No way, Dan. We don't want you. We don't want that dude that tried to take away Trump's Secret Service because of his felonies that are being overturned right now, but you're going to try to take away his Secret Service now, first, before all of this is said and done? Put them at greater risk? But that's what they're trying to do, aren't they? So a reminder, his parents, this is Crooks. This is getting better and better as we get to know Mr. MK Ultra. His parents are both registered professional counselors. Trump's shooter apparently had depressive disorder, former Secret Service agent said. The FBI told lawmakers that the agency is still working to determine what motive Thomas Matthew Crooks had in attempting to shoot and kill former President Donald Trump. Former Secret Service agent Paul Eckloff believes the best way to understand Crooks' motive is to look at the history of shooters in America. He says, quote, if you look back at history of mass shooters in public spaces, 25% had a diagnosed mental illness. I think it's probably been higher than that, but whatever. That's interesting because that's a very low number. In this case, it appears he, Crooks, was diagnosed with a major depressive disorder, but you tend to look at changes in behavior. So he gets into all the nonsense, but we know he was mentally troubled, which from anybody that kind of understands MK Ultra, that's usually how they get in. And if they can get into your subconscious, if they can get in through hypnosis is a fun, easy way to do it, but there's other ways they can try to get in there. And if they can accomplish that, they can implant all sorts of very, very interesting things into your psyche. And it's freaky. If you've ever seen a hypnotist work, it's freaky, is all I can say. And I don't mean just the videos and stuff like I went to our grad night, they brought a hypnotist. I wasn't able to get hypnotized, thank God, probably. But my friends did. And I saw them do things that were out of character, just period. I knew my friends. They did things that were out of character, very much so. They would never, their internal filters would never allow them to behave in the way they did. They were funny as hell. It was definitely funny. But people will do crazy things. They just got programmed. We watch it happen. I've seen it happen with friends of mine. I have no question in my mind. Engeron says he won't recuse himself from the Trump civil fraud trial, says he can remain impartial and refuted any claims of the opposite. That's okay. He probably believes it too. Apparently, black leaders are launching a counter to Project 2025, and they're going to push this in battleground states. It's really weird about this whole Project 2025 thing. This is a 922-page version for the Democrats who are probably not going to read it. Let's be honest. I didn't look anything up about it because I don't frankly care, and I don't really care a lot about Project 2025. And I'm like, I should finally at least look it up. Well, apparently it is this group that's talking about this presidential transition, and they're saying they're doing this because of Trump, but it's done through the Heritage Foundation. They are 100% behind this. This isn't Donald Trump inspired or whatever. These people are inspired by Donald Trump, it seems, based off of what they put in here. But it talks about basically fixing up our broken infrastructure, fixing the FBI, fixing a lot of stuff. So, whatever the case is, I don't look at all the details. I just looked at the top skinny, 7 paragraphs or whatever. And I'm like, all right, I guess that's kind of what it's about. That's it. That's all I know. That's all I really want to know. We'll see how things play out, but I just don't. Yeah, I don't put a lot of into either of these things. But it is where it is. It is what it is, and it's going to continue to be like that. And we'll see how it transitions. Donald Trump, truth this, FBI Director Christopher Wray told Congress yesterday that he wasn't sure if I was hit by shrapnel, glass, or a bullet. The FBI never even checked. But he was sure that crooked Joe Biden was physically and cognitively uneventful. Wrong. That's why he knows nothing about the terrorists or other criminals pouring into our country at record levels. His only focus is destroying J6 patriots, raiding Mar-a-Lago, and saving radical left lunatics like the one now in D.C., burning American flags and spray painting over our great national monuments with zero retribution. No, it was unfortunately a bullet that hit my ear and hit it hard. There was no glass. There was no shrapnel. The hospital called it a bullet wound to the ear, and that is what it is. No wonder the once worried FBI has lost its confidence in America, or Americans have lost confidence in them, whatever is what he meant to say, or it did say. I probably read it wrong. Trump's rally bullet trajectory analysis contradicts FBI shrapnel testimony. Apparently, a new look at the attempted assassination of former President Trump on July 13 campaign rally found that at first, the first of the 8 bullets fired by the gunman likely struck the Republican candidate in the ear, according to the new report. He turned his head at the same time, all that stuff. Here is his doctor, the one that has actually dealt and helped him with his ear. The physician that Trump is currently using and was there day one for his ear injury. Here's him talking about it.
I missed this, says it wasn't a bullet that hit Mr. Trump. Really? Joining us now, Pennsylvania Congressman Scott Perry and Texas Congressman Dr. Ronnie Jackson, former White House physician. We're going to play quick sound on this, gentlemen. Here it comes.
With respect to former President Trump, there's some question about whether or not it's a bullet or shrapnel that that hit his ear.
All right, there you have it. Bullet or shrapnel, Ronnie Jackson? I know you examined President Trump. What's Ray talking about, and do you agree or not?
Absolutely not, Larry. This is absolutely ridiculous that he would make a comment like this. This degrades any level of credibility that this man may have had after years of weaponizing the FBI and the DOJ against the president. It was absolutely a bullet. I examined it. It was a track of a bullet. It was scooped out just as it would be in the track of a bullet. It had the telltale other damage that is associated with it. All the surrounding tissue in the ear was swollen and edematous. His ear looked like a wrestler's ear when it was fat and swollen, and that goes along with the trauma from a high velocity bullet as it passes through tissue. That's a hallmark of a gunshot wound, is that the tissue outside around the bullet track is also traumatized and damaged, and that would not happen from a piece of glass or even from a fragment. That was a bullet. Everybody saw it. The whole world witnessed what happened. That's why this man's being butchered right now, because it was on live television.
But Ronnie, I also have read that that bullet ricocheted off of Mr. Trump's ear area and it injured one of the people in the crowd.
Right. That bullet went somewhere. I mean, it passed through the top of his ear. It didn't stop there. So, they need to find out what happened. This is the organization that's tasked with the investigation of the assassination attempt. And it's irresponsible for this man to make these kind of comments as a sitting FBI director, because all he does is add fuel to the fire for the morons and the assassination deniers like Joy Reid and Keith Olbermann and other idiots like that are out there that don't want the public, or they're trying to minimize what happened to the president. He almost died, Larry. That's as close as you can come to get, as close as you can get to dying. So this was a big deal, and for them to try to minimize it just pisses me off, quite frankly.
Scott, I like how Larry's like, it ricocheted off his ear. There's no bone in the air. It's just cartilage. It ricocheted off his ear and hit somebody. Like it was Trump's fault. Yeah, no. So when you get shot in the future, folks, make sure that the tissue that's being damaged properly ricochets the bullet in a safe direction. That is your responsibility as a shooting victim, and the responsibility of the shooter is just to hit that soft part of your tissue so you can do the rest. Where do these people come from? I'm worried about this a little bit. No, okay, a lot. But I mean, okay, it's super lot. And normally, what's his name? Something Kudlow or whatever. I called him Lisa, I think. It's close enough. I feel like that's what he is right now. He's a Lisa in my mind. FBI seeking to interview Trump as part of an assassination attempt investigation. They're finally going to get around to talking to Trump 14 plus days later. You don't want to talk to him when the facts are fresh in their mind, or the bullet warmth, or whatever. No, why would you do that? That would be. Netanyahu showed up in Florida today. The short little bit of imagery does nothing to forward that, other than that's his plane apparently, but you don't ever see him walking out. Though we are going to show him at the Tesla factory with Musk, which I think is cool. Second, the security that Netanyahu has right now is serious. And the one dude that does the little talking into the jacket thing, he's got his little handheld thing that's clipped on the inside of his jacket or whatever. He keeps, the whole time he's talking to it. It's actually fun to watch. They are so serious about their security. And that's actually one of the things that Israel, I believe, was the first country ever to use a commercial airline as a spy craft. And it worked really well until they finally realized it, and then they, quote, shot a passenger plane out of the sky. But they were doing that kind of stuff, and you hide in plain sight. The thing that we accused them of doing, they've done it as well. I mean, it's just, they're brilliant when it comes to figuring that kind of shit out. Senator Marsha Blackburn, the Kids Online Safety Act just passed a key procedural vote. I look forward to seeing critical bipartisan legislation pass the U.S. Senate in the coming days. Thank goodness. Folks, if you have pets, first off, then you definitely need to check this out. Go to danradiostyle.petclub247.com. First off, you're going to get to this landing page here. You're going to want to go to shop. I mean, there's reviews. We can talk about all the people that have used these products that are not expensive, by the way, and they're really well priced considering. This has got this mushroom in it. So the Coriolis versicolor mushroom has all these studies. There's over 400 of them. There's all these studies that suggest healing properties, health properties, better than you'd be surprised. Let's put it that way. Anti-cancer studies have been done and shown to be very effective and exceptionally effective. There's a lot that goes along with this particular product. So they've got, one, products that have that in it. That's a big key. And this is one of these things that you can't overdose on or eat too much of. And actually, the more of it you get into your system, really, the more of that benefit you tend to have. It's just a great help. That said, they've got foods that are made without these chemicals and all these other impurities. A lot of these things that you get, your dog toys even for that matter, they've got toys that are healthy for your dogs, and they accomplish what your dog's happy with a stick, right? So they've got these antlers. Well, as it grinds those down, that's like calcium, and right? That's minerals that they use to grow those antlers. Well, your dog's grinding that down. It's getting minerals inside its body. It's super good for your dog. So the toys are good in that respect. Your dog's stoked about it, but on top of that, they're not made in China. They don't have chemicals. They don't have all this weird stuff. So they're good for your animal. They're not actually removing years of life from your loved ones, but they're actually adding years of life to your loved ones. So when you go to the shop tab, you're going to see all sorts of cool stuff. They group it up here, but you got dogs, cats, horses. I'm partial to dogs. I got a lot of cat people out there, so they've got some cool stuff for both. But the mush puppies is the thing that most people get started with. And it's just like a treat that's got that Coriolis versicolor in it. And so it's just an easy way to give them some every day without changing anything radical. Let's try it out, see what's going on, and you'll be surprised. They've got Mojos. It's kind of a treat. They've got a special supercharged version of the mush puppies. Again, it's just got an extra mushroom in there. They've got food, freeze-dried food. They've got super sauce. So you want that mushroom, and your dog's already got really healthy food, and you're one of these people that probably pays way too much for your food, which is cool. Good on you, right? It's like natural this, natural that. It's like 3 ingredients, and your dog just loves it. Throw some of that super sauce on top of it. Now for just a little bit a day, your dog's getting the mushrooms, and they're actually getting their normal food. You're not doing anything too radically crazy. They've got dry food. They've got canned food. They've got biscuits. They've actually got mutt mints if they have breath problems, because sometimes they have a lot of gum sickness and gum health. This is a way to get, again, more of these versicolor mushrooms in the dog's body is going to help with a lot of these different things. And again, with toys, they got the antler sticks, antler split, and an antler split toy. Again, the ropes don't have a bunch of chemicals in them. It's stuff that's actually healthy and safe for your dog and your cat. They got treats. They've got food. They've got a little catnip play thing for your cats. They've got some of the super sauce as well. So I know cats are super finicky. And they've even got horse food, mush ponies. Easy way to get it inside that older horse right here. And they're not that expensive. You can actually buy giant ones. So you've got a stable, I assume, with multiple horses, and you kind of want to make this sort of something that you share with a lot of them. Especially with treats. Horses are really responsive to that kind of stuff, especially when you have a relationship with them. It's pretty cool. So you've got larger amounts that you can buy. And they've got some of the pills that you could wrap up in something else, cheese or whatever the hell, apples. Shove it in an apple and give it to the horse, and they'll eat the whole damn thing, right? So a lot of powerful ways that you can get these healthy things into your loved ones. And they actually have a human tab because it's good for us too, believe it or not. I actually use it right here. Take it every day, twice a day, in fact. And I've got gummy versions that I've been trying out. They're actually pretty nice, actually. The gummies are kind of like, I might go to those because swallowing the pill's no big deal. It's like one of the minerally pills, like the brownie ones, right? The brownish, speckly colored. You guys probably know, like a vitamin pill, normal. The gummies are nice, actually. Kind of like those. They taste all right, and you can tell the mushroom's in there, but you don't taste it or anything. Like, it's just It's very cool. So again, they've got products for everybody. Go to danradiostyle.petclub247.com, danradiostyle.petclub247.com. Get started, get going on it, and you will be amazed. You're also going to be getting a discount and everything else. You're helping the channel, of course. There's a lot that's happening through this, and we are going to get the owners of this company to come in and talk about the benefits, the research, and a lot of the stuff that's out there. So go to danradiostyle.petclub247.com. That's danradiostyle.petclub247.com. Take that first step to guarantee your little loved ones can live that much longer. And believe me, this does add. There's all sorts of people that are talking about the effects there's been for their dogs and cats. You go to the reviews section, there's a bunch of reviews, and then there's also research, and there's a bunch going on there too. Seriously, just do your research, look at it a little bit, you'll be amazed, and then it'll be like, why didn't I start this earlier? Don't worry, you can undo a lot of what's already been done. Seriously, no matter how far along, especially if you've got an aging animal, this is a great way to help that process out. danradiostyle.petclub247.com. Sorry, I love this product so much, and I love the fact that it's good for humans. I smoked for 21 years, so I don't have anything that I know of wrong with me, right? But I'm doing this because I know it's actually making a difference. Baby Trump is a guy, I had him on my show, and he talked about this. This is what he used, by the way, with his tumor. So I know people, and I know this helps, and that's why I'm doing it. So again, danradiostyle.petclub247.com. You'd be surprised how simple a choice it is and how easy it is to make a difference in any number of lives that matter to you. UK government drops challenge to International Criminal Court over Netanyahu's arrest warrant. So the new president or new prime minister, whatever the hell he is, prime minister, sinister, is definitely not a good guy, it seems, and is definitely taking away its appeal, almost, if you will, of the Netanyahu criminal court decision. I still think it's a trip that he's out here. Hopefully no one tries to arrest him. We'll see. I'm sure that's part of why his security force is so extreme. Israel warns France of an Iran-backed plot to actually attack Israeli members in the Israeli athletes that are competing. Will France do anything? I don't know. They're a total G7 country. They're a total deep state country. Would our government do anything extra to protect somebody that they dislike? No. They didn't with Trump. We definitely know they won't. They wouldn't. They're not gonna. So, yeah, Israel's telling France, hey, look, they're going to try to kill our people. We'll see what France does about that. North Korean hackers are stealing military secrets, says U.S. and its allies. First off, I'm sure they are. I'm sure they're really capable hacks and all that stuff. But here's the thing. They're like one of the poorest countries in the world. And somehow they got some of the best hackers? Like, where's that? Like, how's that even come into play? Like, you have to let someone kind of grow up a little bit with a computer to suddenly just get the weird tinkerers to finally pop themselves up. Just to have some guy that's like been building blocks for 20 years of his life, and then suddenly you put a computer in front of him, he's like, oh, just start hacking shit. I don't think that's how it works. Maybe they have some sort of aptitude test they do, and then they get them into programs. It's probably likely, but still, it seems strange to me. Like the next group that we have to get in a war with. North Korea is hacking us everywhere. And again, why isn't it Russia still? The Mexican drug kingpin Ismael Zambada Garcia, also known as El Mayo. You gotta have the mayo with the tomato on your hamburger. You know, you gotta have some of the mayo thrown on there. This guy got taken in by apparently the Justice Department, which Department of Justice, whatever. Oxymoron still, either way. Don't know what they're doing with him, or if I can trust that they're going to do the right thing with him. I have zero faith. That's the sad part. They also caught Joaquin Guzman Lopez. Apparently he's the son of the cartel's other co-founder, El Chapo. You guys might have heard of him. So, yeah, supposedly these two guys got caught. We'll see. Elon gave Netanyahu a tour yesterday. Let's play this out. We're a little long, but not too bad. I'm going to finish these two things first, and then we'll play that on the outer. Live traffic apparently on the super trains that they've got going on in France. People were building fires like on the tracks and stuff, and that was causing disruptions. They were causing trains to stop because you can't go barreling through one of those at 300 kilometers an hour. Probably do damage, pretty sure. Could possibly derail, and at that speed, that would be pretty catastrophic, especially how these are a lot of times they can go in close to, buildings and stuff. So yeah, some of those eco-terrorists are doing some crazy shit out there in France, or because of the Olympics. Either way you look at it, it's a G7 country that's not going to do anything about anybody doing any of their dirty work, which the climate people are doing their dirty work. Elon Musk's so popular in the farming region in Brazil that they're all getting his internet, and it's freaking out the country, this power base. So the Brazilian Supreme Court's actually investigating into Elon Musk's Starlink because it doesn't like how much power Elon Musk is gaining, or how much they don't have the ability to control what people understand or experience. So the Supreme Court is, again, this is what Biden's trying to do. This is what they do. This is how they change the country. This is what they were trying to do to begin with. We lucked out, folks. We lucked out. We had a couple hardcore people that held the line, and then a bunch of us caught up and helped. That's really how this has played out. So, yeah, crazy world is playing out before us. What's this last story here? Aging rapist Harvey Weinstein, 72, is rushed to a hospital with a myriad of health conditions. Oh, shucks. Feel bad for him at all? Do you even feel a teeny bit bad for Harvey Weinstein? Like, I'm not saying he's guilty or not guilty. I just know there's so much debauchery in his past that's been accused anyways. If he's got all this dis-ease in his body, sounds like he's an asshole, sounds like he's got some bad mojo going on. That's what it sounds like to me. So, unfortunately, the dude's taking it hard, but nonetheless, yeah, we'll see where he gets from all of that. Now, here's the thing. I kind of want you guys, I'm going to close out. Like I said, we'll finish off with this. That way, if you don't want to watch, period, you should just stop watching. But if this doesn't matter to you. But what I do think is amazing is the security. I paid more attention to that than Musk or Trump or Musk and Netanyahu talking, as much as like the security in every moment, especially the one dude. There was the one guy. You'll see him everywhere. You'll see who I'm talking about. He's the guy with the thing. That dude's obviously like the head or something, but you know those dudes could kill people in like 42 different ways at every 1 second. That's their job, is to figure out how could I kill that individual 17 times. That guy I could kill in 16 different ways. That guy 42. Jesus, like, he's as fat as he is. Crap. I could stab him and gravy would pour out, right? Like, I don't know, whatever. That's his job. I think he's like instantly calculates these things in his mind. We'll see that play out in real time. It's kind of cool. That said, folks, we are doing way better than you realize. And we've locked them into this Kamala thing. And they don't have finances legally necessarily right now. Things aren't going well for them. And if that money gets locked up for any length of time, that's going to suck for them. And if they do take it up all the way to the Supreme Court, they've got to get through the appellate courts. Everybody's got to rule in on it. So they got to move. How quickly can that go? I don't know. Maybe get case 2 weeks at tops. So this just eats out of their 100 days, or whatever it exactly is right now. We're doing way better, and we tricked them with the Obamas to endorse. They're all in now. And this, we haven't even started. That's what they realize. That's what the good guys know, too. They've got a whole slew of stuff ready to go to just annihilate her. And right now they're focusing on the border. The bad guys are focusing on the border. And she wasn't the border czar, and that's all they got, man. That's all they got. And we just played a thing that shows they've basically were saying she was in charge of immigration. That was their reporting. Don't know how us people got that in our minds. All that left-leaning media telling us that. So we'll see. It didn't go the way they wanted it to. But anyway, check out the awesome video footage of Musk and Netanyahu. And I think the security is the coolest part. But I love you guys. We're going to keep fighting this fight. Got my music show today. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's just kind of softer love song type stuff. It was Christopher Cross inspired this particular mix. I looked up the same song 3 times. It's kind of funny. It's sort of a funny story. I'll probably end up telling it live on the show, but you'll hear it if you watch. But it's also, if you go to my channel, just go to the playlists. I've got one playlist. That one playlist is all the music shows I've done. So easy way to find them if you're trying to thin through all the, slice and dice the mix, if you will. But I thank you guys. I love you guys. Thank you for being a part of every step of the way that we've been through this, and thank you for continuing to help us ripple through this. You guys are the information passers. You guys are the ones that are making it hard for the deep state. You're the numbers. I'm just one guy that's helping inspire a lot. That's why I'm a bad boy, if you will. But you guys are the dangerous ones. You're doing the awesome job pushing the information peacefully, passively, with love in your heart, you guys are the ones that are making this impossible for the deep state. So I thank you. And all of this is for you and for us to make it through this together. Where we go one, we go all. It's On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.
One guy. One guy.
But life said no, and one said maybe. I'm like, I'll take that as a yes.
Oh, like in the machine.
The Marvel comics come to life.
One of these robots. The basics of the robot are typically made. It's getting more efficient. I don't know. I'd say like maybe 5 to 8% a year would be nickel. So the lithium is maybe 2 or 3% of the content.
The DeLorean, that's it. DeLorean was, I think, was the first, no? I don't know. Maybe.
The car in Back to the Future was a DeLorean.
Oh, it's probably wrong. You got it?
This is very good when you feel something, and then that's our Model S flag actually. That's
See you later.
Red, hot wiring, and the cooling. Yeah, and it's difficult to, these connectors are sometimes difficult to connect, and
I don't know if these guys are on the job.
yeah. Hey guys.
That's where they tip you also.
Well, yes.
This is the future. We're in it.
Yeah.
And Elon has been amazingly generous with his time and his vision. But not only to us, I think for humanity. Really amazing. Nothing short of it.
לא עושה מאוד מהר.
לא שומעים כלום, אלוהים.
Okay, cool. The food.
Not sure why the sound stopped.